Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Absolutely Podcast, the podcast specifically designed to help women defeat diet culture and live their dream healthy lifestyle. I am so excited to be back today. I just returned from Cabo yesterday, and I thought I'm going to just compile all of my tips and tricks on how to travel and vacation without weight gain. So that's what we're going to be going over in today's podcast because let me tell you, I weighed in the day I left and I weighed in today, and I'm the exact same weight. And this doesn't happen by accident. It happens from all the things that I'm going to be talking about in today's podcast episode. And if you're someone that comes back from vacation up 5, 10 pounds, even I've seen, this is for you. So I'm really excited to go over all of my tips and tricks for travel. But as you know, I start out every one of my podcasts with giving a rose of the week, which is like a high of the week, and then a thorn of the week, which is my low of the week, just to kind of give you a little bit of intel on what's going on in Coach Abby's life. And then I also give my favorite of the week. So if you don't want to hear any of those things, skip forward a few minutes. But if you want to hear more about my life, then stay tuned here, and then we'll get into all the tips, tricks, everything else to stay on track during vacation and have a simple game plan to stay healthy, still have fun, enjoy all the drinks, but not show up back home and feel completely miserable. So, rose of the week. So, I got back from Cabo. That is a rose of the week, and I was there for a golf tournament. This was my first golf tournament ever, and I will tell you, I was a little bit nervous when I first showed up to the tournament. I was hitting a putt on the second hole we were playing, and my hands were literally shaking. And I don't know why I was so nervous to play in this tournament. Like, it's not that serious. But let me tell you, like, after that, I was just having such a great time. And I honestly played really, really great. I played with my friend Jaden, and we absolutely crushed it. We didn't win, but we didn't lose either. We were like middle, upper of the pack, which is fabulous. And we had the cutest outfits. We coordinated outfits, and we were the girls of the weekend that people were like, you guys are the ones with the cute outfits. And I want to be known as the girl with the cute outfit, one thing about me. And we definitely delivered on that. So it was 2 days. We played a lot of golf. It was so much fun. I will talk about this as my thorn, but we got a lot of sun, and it was just literally like the best weekend. And I am so happy that I took up golf, and I really, really practiced for this. I spent months preparing and was practicing, and it was so fun as an adult to like compete and have a goal that I was like working so hard towards for months, and then to be able to go out there and do really well, or even not do well. Even if I didn't play good, I would have had so much fun still. And I'm just really proud of myself for getting out of my comfort zone and for meeting so many new people. We played against all men, which was funny to beat a few men in our matches. But it was such a great time. I mean, the weather down there is amazing. The food down there is amazing. And I have literally no complaints. I will say that they had a great camera team that was following everyone to make like promotional videos, which I loved. And I talked every time they would come up, I would say we're getting popped again, like paparazzi. And they would just like come out of nowhere, come out of the side of the trees or whatever. And one day they came up to me and they said, we want you to be featured. And so they filmed a little clip of me, and it actually turned out so good. But when they showed the video at the end of the golf tournament, they showed it on this like giant screen. And why was I like, it felt like I was half the video. Like they kept sniping me, I think because we were wearing matching outfits and we looked really cute. But I had so many clips of me, and like I kept just showing up. And I was like laughing to the people I was with that they should have talked to my manager before filming all of this stuff. But anyways, if you want to see me featured in a big golf video, that was my debut there, and it was so much fun. So that was my rose of the week. And my thorn of the week is I have the gnarliest golf tan currently. The UV was like a 7, 8, and we were out there from pretty much like 8 to 5 p.m. both days. And so we have a crazy golf tan. So that might never go away for me. But you know what? That's just a rite of passage. And I have like a tank top tan, and we're just gonna make our way. But I will say the areas that were not covered, like my arms and legs. I am so, so, so tan, which I try not to get a ton of sunlight just because it's not the best thing for our skin. But I am happy with the amount of sun that I got and how I played as well. My favorite product is actually a travel product that I brought on my trip that I've never brought before, because I recently started incorporating bone broth first thing in the morning, and I didn't necessarily want to fly down with a Costco size bone broth in my suitcase. That would have taken up a lot of room and been pretty heavy. So what I did is I ordered bone broth powder on Amazon, and it was so delicious. I find that when I drink bone broth first thing in the morning, it just kind of like coats my stomach. It has really been helping my digestion. And it's also 10 grams of protein. So it's a nice little protein boost first thing in the morning. But this bone broth powder, I was skeptical because I've just been using bone broth that comes in like the container that you pour out. It's already like in liquid form. But this bone broth powder was absolutely delicious. I'm blanking on the name of the brand right now. I've just bought it on Amazon, but I will put it in the description. I have been in love with having bone broth. It's just like a great thing to have first thing in the morning, because you're not just like throwing coffee in your system, but it's still like a warm, comforting drink. And so I absolutely loved consuming that. I would have that while I was getting ready, and then I would have my food and coffee afterwards. And I definitely was craving it every single morning. I think it's so good. And the benefits of drinking bone broth are amazing as well. So, highly, highly recommend. That was my favorite product of the week that I had recently discovered there. So, now that we've gone over all of my details from the past week of fun and now getting back into normalcy, I want to get into how to vacation without putting on a ton of body fat. And I definitely used to be the girl that would be so nervous to go on vacation, because I would think about all of the progress I was going to lose and just how hard it is to stay on track because you're not in your normal routine. You're maybe not able to get your workouts in. You're not able to eat exactly how you eat at home. And that was a really big like mental struggle that I had for years. Was, of course I want to go on vacation with my family. Of course I want to go have fun, but I had this just like element of guilt that was associated with vacation. And especially when I would come back, step on the scale, and I'd see that the scale was higher, and I would just feel so disappointed and kind of like sad for myself that I allowed myself to lose all of this progress. And now I don't struggle with that at all because of the things that I'm going to be talking about today. And I mean, there's a bunch of different things that aided in me being able to get to this point. And if you're someone that maybe right now you're like, oh my gosh, vacations are something that completely freak me out. I can't enjoy a vacation because I'm so all consumed with your health and fitness. Just know that you can get out the other side, and it is possible, but it does take work. It takes mindset work, physical work, and it's a really hard spot to be in, and I definitely sympathize with that. So just know you're not alone in that there. But it is hard, and I think the biggest thing when it comes to vacation is, number one, the mindset going into vacation. And we don't need to look at vacation as this like free for all diet break or like a punishment period of like, I can't eat anything. It's really an opportunity to practice balance. And whenever one of my clients goes on vacation, the number one thing that I am telling them to do is to use it as a learning opportunity. Because if we step into vacation as an opportunity to restrict or as an opportunity to go buck wild, those two things are not going to work out very well for you. And what I teach all of my clients in their day-to-day life is to have an 80-20 mindset. So 80% of your foods should be healthy, nutrient dense foods. 20% can be those fun foods. And I find that when you're at home and you're practicing this balance, it's a lot easier to go on vacation and then practice this balance and not be ordering crazy thing after crazy thing every single meal, because that's not going to make you feel great. And of course, that's going to reflect on the scale when you get back. I mean, that's the last thing that I'm worried about when I'm getting back from a vacation is what the scale's doing. I'm more so worried about, I don't want to feel like crap when I get back from my vacation. And I think that instead of focusing on this, like blow everything out of the water, go completely crazy, I think that if we focus it as a permission slip to allow yourself to practice that balance and enjoy foods mindfully, that is something that I love to do. So For instance, just kind of like how I practiced this week during my trip. And I will say, this trip, I had little control over my food. Like they had food set up at some of the holes and whatever. It was great. The food was so amazing. But I didn't have like a ton of control on like what I could order and whatever. So I went about this trip a little bit different than maybe I would typically. But when I have the opportunity to have something that is more high protein, nutrient dense, like I'm going to have it. Like I think I consumed probably like 20 tacos this trip. I'm not kidding. But like tacos are a great protein, carb, fat in a lot of situations, maybe have a little bit of vegetables on it. So I think that if you can, instead of seeing foods as healthy or unhealthy or good or bad, we think about how do we eat 80% whole foods, focus on protein when we can, avoid that food guilt cycle too. I used to have a meal out and wake up in the morning and be like, what did I do? I lost all my progress. I suck, whatever. And that's such a hard spot to be in and a really, really toxic cycle. So I think avoiding those feelings of guilt. And when you do have a feeling of guilt, ask yourself why. Like, was there something maybe you could have done the night before that wasn't, all or nothing mentality? Like, oh, I just shouldn't have eaten last night, or I should have gotten the chicken salad, like something gross. Like, no, there's still a way to eat 80/20. And so that's what I teach all my clients. And that's what I practice myself as well, is like, I'm having a margarita. I'm going to have some chips and salsa. And that's not going to be something that I all consumes my mind and I wake up the next morning and think about. Like I had those two things maybe, but I also had a grilled fish with it. Great choice, right? It truly is all about balance. And I never want a client to go on vacation. I shouldn't say never, but I really try to avoid saying, okay, let's go on vacation and try to lose a tremendous amount of body fat. I think vacation should be meant for maintenance rather than for making this tremendous amount of progress. And if you can at least just maintain your progress during the trip, you're going to feel a lot better mentally, and you're not going to be in this cycle of like feeling like you're a failure when you return. Hey, even myself, like I have never tried to lose weight on a vacation. I just try to maintain and use all of these things that I have learned at home: portion control, all the nutrient makeups of foods from macro tracking. All of this knowledge I am now applying on vacation, which allows me a lot more balance and a lot more freedom and flexibility. And that's literally, if you're a client of mine right now, you probably have heard me say this on many voice memos to you. But if you can apply the knowledge that you're learning from tracking macros and you're learning from these things that we're doing in our coaching together, you're going to have such a better time on vacation, because you're not going to be worried about food, because you have the foundation and skill and knowledge around food. And how empowering is that to do? Like, I don't even think about going on vacation now on my food, because I am now empowered by my nutrition choices. I don't fall victim to the all or nothing mentality. I'm not going on vacation and treating it like a free for all, but I'm still enjoying all my favorite foods. Don't get me wrong. And there are a lot of little like smart nutrition strategies that we can incorporate, because that was kind of like the mindset, like woo side of things, but there all are also strategy things. And so I'm going to teach you the strategy things if you're more of like a strategy person. Now, I think the best thing is to have a blend of like the woo woo mindset with the strategy. So we're going to kind of marry those two together right now. And I'm going to be giving the things that I say, okay, we're going to focus on the mindset. We're going to focus on applying this knowledge, but there are also some like tangible takeaways, step one, step two, those things that we can do to make sure that we're maintaining your weight. And even just like these small things really do make a big difference. So tip number one is going to be to prioritize your protein at each meal. This is going to do wonders, because it's going to keep you fuller for longer. And it's also going to balance your blood sugar and reduce cravings. So I, at every single meal, will make sure that I am having at least a small protein source. So for instance, when I would go get tacos, I would get tacos with protein in them. Most tacos do have protein in them. But when I'm having maybe a pasta, I'm ordering a protein on top, or I'm getting a Caesar salad with chicken with that pasta. So prioritizing protein is going to make you feel a lot fuller for longer, and it's going to make you not eat as much at those meals. So I 100% recommend prioritizing protein. That is a foundation thing that I do every single meal on vacation, and without fail, it helps me every single time. And I highly recommend that. And if you don't have maybe an option to have protein at a meal, that's okay, move on. But I do recommend getting a protein in at each meal. It will make you feel better, and you'll be amazed by how much you don't overly do it or binge on foods that maybe you didn't even really want to have. Another thing that I like to do is kind of like pick and choose my battles. So when I'm going into a meal, I'm not saying to myself, how can I have the craziest, most unhealthy, indulgent meal? Like I'm picking and choosing. So if I want a couple of high calorie cocktails, maybe I'm not ordering the fries or I'm not ordering the dessert. Like I'm trying to choose maybe like one thing instead of the other at a meal that is quote unquote unhealthy. But I think about it from like that 80-20 mindset side of things. So maybe if I want the burger, I'm not getting the cocktails or I'm not getting the dessert. So pick and choose, and that will really help of having something that still hits the spot, but not just completely having everything else with it. It will so save you a lot of calories, but it also will make you feel a lot better to do this too. So I like to pick and choose my battles with the foods I am ordering when it maybe isn't super healthy. And then hydrating is a big thing as well. This will be really helpful for your energy, for appetite control. I always bring Element electrolyte packets on all of my trips. This is something that really helps to keep me hydrated. And I promise you, if you are drinking water throughout the day, you will have a lot less cravings and tend to binge a lot less and have maybe some foods that you don't want to eat, because sometimes you are literally just dehydrated and you're not hungry, especially on vacation. You might want to like go to the buffet an extra time or whatever because you're actually thirsty. So I definitely recommend having a lot of water. I make it a total non-negotiable for me to hit my water goal when I am on vacation. And that is something that really helps me to stay balanced as well. And I mean, no one wants to feel dehydrated or extra hungover because you didn't have enough water, right? Another thing I will do is pack small, healthy snacks. This time around, I literally just packed a bunch of chomp sticks, which are those like beef jerky sticks. Great option. There's nothing wrong with packing a protein bar, whatever. Like sometimes you're just not on the same food schedule as someone else, and maybe they want to get food or you don't. You're not that hungry, or maybe you're hungry and they're not. So having these little things on hand is something that is really helpful for you, especially if you know that you're someone that gets hungry and tends to maybe have the unhealthier option. Or I at least know like when I get to a point of starvation, like I want to eat all the foods and do all of the things, and that's probably not going to make me feel my best for my blood sugar. So I love to bring some of these just quick, easy little portable things for my meals, especially when I am like that first like traveling, like getting on an airplane or getting in the car. Like I love to pack my food. Airport food isn't good anyway. So like might as well pack your own sandwich, might as well pack your own wrap, your salad. And I totally recommend eating your own food when you can and then enjoying those meals out, and you have a little bit more room if you haven't had every single meal out for the day. The next thing is going to be movement. So when you are on a trip, it can be really easy to feel guilty about maybe not being able to get all of your normal workouts in and get all of your steps in. I personally get a lot of steps in when I'm on vacation because I love to explore. And that is a big recommendation that I have for you, is to use movement as something to explore, or to go do a hike or go golfing or do tennis, or like something that is active and fun. Like you don't need a gym in order to get movement in. And I love walks. Like I literally walk everywhere. If you can like walk home from dinner or walk to breakfast or walk to go get coffee, like those are great ways to add a little bit of like a calorie cushion in a sense, because you are taking more steps and moving more. I personally love moving on vacation. If you're someone though that you're like, that's not something, I want to do, or maybe you're in a really cold area, or you can't go golf or ski or do something fun, like a quick hotel room workout even, or even just like some stretching or going to the hotel gym is a great way. But of course, getting movement in is going to allow you a little bit more flexibility with your nutrition because you're moving throughout the day. And I think that vacation is a great opportunity to use movement as an exploration tool and something that just feels really good. Like personally, when I go on a beach trip, I am taking advantage of the beach walks. I love a beach walk, putting on a podcast. You're in a different area. You get your bearings for the resort or wherever you're at. I think it's a great opportunity to be able to not only burn some calories, but also it's really good for your mind and really good for your digestion to get that movement in. So I really highly recommend prioritizing movement. For me, if I do have access to a gym, I will do little workouts. Most of the time on vacation, like I have extra time. So I might as well get, 20, 30-minute lift in. I don't do anything crazy, and maybe have to modify things. But I now just have movement in my life as just such a habit and a priority that I honestly miss it when I'm not moving. And I can definitely tell a difference on like my mental health and stuff. So I really love to get a workout in, even if it is like 5 to, 30 minutes of my day. And then I feel so good for the whole rest of the day, have that energy. And if I can kind of marry the two and have extra activity throughout the day, that's something that I really prioritize and love to do. But I don't think that we necessarily should go on vacation and think to ourselves, like, I need to panic about how I'm going to get my workout in, or I need to bring all this extra equipment to be able to get a workout in. I think that there's a time and place to take time off, especially if you're a person that works out every single week. They rarely take time off of working out. Taking a vacation once or twice a year and not working out for that week is more than fine and actually encouraged. Our bodies need that rest time. And sometimes I love working out, so it's hard for me to take time off. But when I do take maybe like a week off, I feel so good after. And I always remind myself that like your body needs that time off in order to rest and recover. And that kind of leads me into my next point of really focusing on sleep and stress management while you are on vacation is the purpose of why you're on vacation. Like, you're not on vacation to hit your workouts perfectly. You're not on vacation to hit your macros perfectly. You're on vacation to relax and enjoy yourself. And I know that travel can sometimes be a little bit chaotic, especially flying this time of year or flying with everything that's going on right now. But the most that we can do to soak up all of the de-stressing elements, and if tracking your food stresses you out, don't track on vacation. I honestly don't recommend tracking on vacation to any of my clients unless they really, really want to. But I want vacation to be the most relaxing thing as possible. And so trying to stick to a regular sleep schedule, getting a lot of sleep in, taking extra naps, like that's what vacation I always want my clients to use it for, is a nervous system regulation tool. So that way they get back and they feel refreshed, because a lot of times people struggle to make progress in their everyday life with their health and fitness because of their stress levels. And so if we never allow our body that time to de-stress, take a vacation, guilt-free, and be really present in the moment, you're going to always feel like you're in this stress rat race. So really soaking up vacation as a de-stressing thing and allowing yourself that time and grace to de-stress is literally the most important thing ever. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was your metabolism. And this was something that I really struggled with in the past, because I literally couldn't maintain my weight if I wasn't eating 1,200 calories. If I would eat 1,500 calories on vacation, I would gain weight and come back and be like, this is awful. And I am now, going far up on the scale, way farther than I wanted to go, because I was also not doing the other tips that I mentioned before. And I was treating vacation as this like balls to the walls thing, because I was so restricted in my everyday life that I'd go on vacation and just like let everything out of the window. And so one thing that really helped me was when I did a reverse diet, I slowly strategically increased my calories to reset my metabolism. I'm now able to maintain at like 2,000, 2,200 calories. So when I go on vacation, I actually struggle with eating enough food, because you're just eating a couple meals throughout the day. Whereas like at home, I'm like eating 4 or 5 meals throughout the day, whatever. But when you're metabolically more flexible and you're not like struggling to eat 1,200 calories every single day, and like that's what you need to maintain your weight, it's a lot easier when you're metabolically flexible, you have reverse dieted, your metabolism is at a lot better spot. One thing I love helping my ladies out with is when they come to me and maybe they're eating 1,200 calories. I have a client in mind right now that I'm thinking of, shout out, but she was coming to me eating 1,200 calories, and anytime she would go on vacation, she would come back and be like way higher in the scale, feel awful, whatever. So we started doing this reverse diet, and now she's been on multiple vacations. One was like literally a 3-week long vacation to Europe, like so much fun. She came back and we were at such a better spot metabolically that she was able to maintain way better than in the past, because it's hard to go on vacation if your metabolism is defaulted to 1,200 calories. Like that's going to really, really suck. And so if you can reset your metabolism to maintain at higher calories, vacations are going to feel like a breeze, and you might actually lose weight on vacation unintentionally because you're just maintaining at a higher rate. So that was me today. Honestly, I got on the scale and I was like pretty surprised that I was the same way because like I was having different foods. I wasn't on my normal routine, but metabolically very flexible. And so that's why I was able to do that and not really think a ton about my food and still maintain. And definitely recommend if you're someone that you are like, yeah, I cannot maintain when I'm not at home and I'm not eating 1,200 calories and restricting myself. Reverse dieting, mindset, a lot of those things could for sure be the cause. And I will say vacation is usually a few days, right? 3 to 7 days is usually a vacation for most people. The what happens afterwards is very, very important in how you treat that. Because a lot of people will turn a vacation into way more than a vacation. They'll get home, they'll take a few days getting back in routine, kind of eating out, not eating healthy, not working out. And then all of a sudden they're like, I haven't been on my regular schedule now for 3, 4, 5 weeks. And so when you're on vacation, you should relax, have fun. But the second I get back from vacation, I like to say, rip the band-aid off. The quicker you get back into routine, the easier it will be. If you are slowly getting back in routine and just not really, going to the grocery store or whatever, like it's going to feel way, way, way harder to get back to your normal sequence of things. So I for sure recommend ripping off that band-aid. We don't need to be like, oh, I need to go do the hardest workout ever. That's not what I'm saying. But get back into eating healthy, get back into hitting your macros, go to the grocery store, have a grocery order the first thing that happens when you get home. This will make it so much easier to get back into your routine. And that way you're not like, oh my gosh, I allowed that vacation to turn into a 5, 6 week excursion of not being on top of my goals. I do find a big catalyst for people falling off track is vacations, and you don't want to be part of that statistic. So when you get home, rip off that band-aid. Find the best way to do that is to, again, do that grocery order, have the food stocked in your fridge, really resist the urge to go get takeout and stuff. Like you've already had enough during the week. You don't need more. Put on your calendar the days you're going to work out, get those done. I know it can be really easy to be like, well, I have laundry and I have stuff I need to be doing in order to get back into like normal life things, which I get. It's hard to get back into work. It's hard to get back into normal momming activities or just normal wife activities or whatever your identity is. But I promise you, the quicker you get back to what you were doing before, the better. And one thing I used to really struggle with was getting back from vacation and feeling this like wave of guilt that I talked about in the beginning of like, I overate. I did all these things, which yes, I did do because I was not practicing this balanced lifestyle than what I'm doing now. But I used to get back and be like, how can I do this extreme diet? How can I do this crazy workout plan? How would literally, there's probably notes in my phone, just so toxic about like how I was basically going to starve myself. And I really want to encourage you to not do that if you're someone that does that. I want you to encourage yourself to hit a step goal, get a couple workouts in, hit protein at each meal. It does not need to be extreme. And that's how you get in that cycle of binge and restrict pretty much is like you start restricting after a vacation, you go on another vacation, and you just kind of let it rip. And then you're in the same spot and you keep that cycle going over. That was me. It's not fun. It perpetuates a really poor relationship with food, exercise yourself. And so focus on living a healthy lifestyle when you're at home. That way when you're on vacation, you can emulate some of those healthy lifestyle things. You get home, you get right back into that healthy lifestyle. You're not restricting. You're not doing this crazy crash diet. You're just getting right back into normalcy. And that's how it should feel. My clients come back from vacation and they tell me, I was so excited to get back into my routine because of how good it makes me feel and how it's just kind of something that happens instantaneously. And that is literally the biggest compliment to me as a coach is that when my clients come to me and they say, I was freaking lit up to get back into my routine because I love it. Your lifestyle and what you do for your health and fitness should be something that you love doing every day. And if it's not, you got to find some other direction. You got to find something else to do that you do actually love. And I'm not saying it's going to be easy every single day and you're going to hop out of bed and want to get a workout in, but it should be something that it makes you feel really good. And it's something that is part of your routine and such a rock solid part of what you have going on that it's not really an option not to do it for yourself and your brain because you love it so much. And so that's how you should be feeling is I like today, I got back into routine. I was so excited to make my breakfast. I was so excited to my morning coffee, so excited to do my walk in the morning. And like, that's how it should feel because I know how good it makes me feel. And ripping off that Band-Aid is so easy. It's like literally like I had oil on my skin and I ripped off that Band-Aid. It didn't even hurt. Hopefully that was all helpful for you. And if you did enjoy this, share it with a friend that maybe is traveling soon. If you're going on a girls trip, share it in your girls group chat. And honestly, like those small intentional choices while you're on vacation add up. You can go on vacation, enjoy yourself, not feel miserable, and still get to your health and fitness goals. That is 100% possible. And I just wanted to do a quick reminder that I am having a Black Friday sale going on for my signature one-to-one metabolic makeover program. So if you want one of those spots, they are going really quick. So I will put the link down below on how to apply for that, or even to just ask me more questions. I'm just a DM away on Instagram, but I will see and record another podcast episode for you all next week. And I will chat with you all soon. Bye.